Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you rocking horse poop. You might just say this is any Alfa Romeo Spider from the mid-90s through to the early noughties. What makes this car so very, very special is the fact that it has the legendary Busso 3-litre 24-valve engine under the bonnet. It transforms the car completely, and it's a beautiful thing to behold. Award-winning when it was launched in 1994. To many accolades, and of course they got the Spider, and you also got the GTV, the coupe version as well. This has been part of Robin's collection for a little while now, and probably by the time you see this video it'll be sold. It's been advertised, someone's coming to see it tomorrow, so I've got my finger out in a nice sunny day to actually finally do a review on this car. It's really, you know what, you take the roof off, and things just seem all right with the world. Going to give you a little walk around the car, we'll talk about it, and then we'll take it for a little bit of a run. Let's have a look under the bonnet to that legendary Busso V6 engine. But just look at those polished intakes. What more would you want to do in a Sunday morning than get your metal polish out and give them a go? Anyway, it seems such a shame to hide it under this clamshell bonnet. But it's just a thing to behold. It dates back, way back to the 1970s, would you believe it or not? Used right the way up through until the noughties, when emissions regulations kind of killed it off. So we hit this little thumb button, get into the car, and look at that. To greet you, big sills. Obviously the torsional rigidity is all in the sills in this car when you chop the roof off. Obviously through the doors and locking, but look at that, glorious dark graphite Momo interior, Momo steering wheel as well, and those beautiful dials, all slightly pointed towards the driver, with a silver backing. So hey, there it is, 40,000 miles from new, full Alfa history, and purring like a kitten. Let's get in and get gone. The door is open. Well, that means only one thing. We'll get it up the road and we'll see what it's like to actually drive. So if you haven't driven a torquey front-wheel drive car before, you might be surprised to see the amount of torque steer that this thing has. It's got a little bit of scuttle shake, is what they call as well. It's little jiggles through the suspension and the chassis when you go over the bumps. But generally speaking, when the roof comes off, the smiles come on, and that's really what it's all about. But it's the sensation, it's the driving experience. These things aren't that expensive. You can pick them up for a few grand. This one's obviously a bit more, being such low mileage and such beautiful condition. But you'll expect to pay somewhere in the region of certainly north of 10 grand. We're looking almost 13 for this car. But it's the noise that this V6 makes. Let's give it a little go. It's more than enough horsepower to keep everyone happy. So let's park it up and discuss a few little bits and pieces. The driving position is almost perfect. We've got a little bit of adjustment on the steering wheel. There's no front and back, but you can adjust the rake. So you can find a half decent position on the steering wheel. The seats, as you'd expect, really nice side bolsters. They are comfortable, and the leather is still supple after all these years. This is a 2001 car. Automatic windows, automatic air conditioning, and we've upgraded the radio on this car simply because we wanted some sort of hands-free Bluetooth, but we have got the original with it as well. So it's got DAB, it's got Google Assist and all the rest of the nonsense that you expect these days. So center console wise, what you've got here, the roof doesn't work without the handbrake selected. You have got the operation up and down of the roof, certainly the electrically operated ones. You've got the mirror adjustment in here. 6-speed gearbox in this particular car. The later ones are 6-speed, introduced from about 2000 onwards. Otherwise it's a 5. No automatics, I believe, were available in this era. Automatic air conditioning, big hazard light, or certainly a switch, and fog lights, front and rear. These beautiful vents, when you close them off, they look really, really pretty, and no stickiness. These are very like the Maserati ones, but the Maserati ones were covered in that Italian goop that goes sticky after a while, and no sign of that here. Beautiful to see. There's nothing sticky at all in this car. No sticky buttons to worry about like the Ferraris of the same era. If you're wondering how to get into the fuel cap, there it is, and it's only powered when the ignition is switched off. There you go. So if you leave your ignition on, you will not be able to refill the car. And there it is, petrol flap, nicely housed in there. 2 buttons you'll probably never really see. These are independent controls. One unlocks the cover, the hard deck cover for the roof, and the other one releases there's a couple of screws in here that eventually screw down the rear end of the hood, one on each side. These are unobtainium, by the way. It's an absolute must that you check that these work properly. Otherwise, you're looking for a donor vehicle that they can pull them out of, and there's only so many available. Subwoofer in the back. Who would have thought for your tunes? Bit of a cubby hole, and a net behind the passenger seat. So, the main release is inside, and if you never knew it was there, you'd never know. If you need to use a key, there you go. It swivels around, and you can open it with the key. But let's go and find the switch that nobody knows is there. So, someone told you it was in the glove box. The switch that no one knows is here. Open the glove box. You can feel all you like around here. It's buried, right up in here. It is marked, but not easy to see. And there it is, the boot release. It's a reasonable size. It's quite deep, which is really nice to see. Ever wondered where your spare wheel is? There it is, little space saver. And that's where your kind of toolkit, etc., lives. Into here is the jack. This one's nicely wrapped up just to stop it rattling around and for cleaning your hands. So that's all nice in there. But it looks like the boot has hardly ever been used in this car. So here we go. The build quality is just immense on this thing. Look at that, covering for the inside of the trunk lid. How many people would have thought of doing this? Maybe that's the reason why it all adds up to 1,500 odd kilos. And what's more, that the roof mechanism doesn't infringe with the boot. The stepped hard cover for the roof cover, all really nice. 3 gauges in the middle, one for water temperature, the other one's a clock and the other one's a fuel gauge. But it's the way this thing drives that makes all of the difference. So it's all washed and polished now. We're gonna get it back home, get it under cover, and we'll get it sold tomorrow. So if it's something cheap, fun for the summer, then I couldn't recommend anything more. So there you have it, folks, the legendary Alfa Spider. This is a 916 Spider, 3-litre, 24-valve, fewer than 150 on the road in the UK. This one has just turned 40,000 miles. You don't see them like this anymore, and they're only going one way in value. The only reason it's for sale is that Robin, as you know, bought the XKR. He's got his Maserati 3200 GT, and it's just not something that he's using on a regular basis. When let's talk frankly, the 3200 GT is a fantastic car, and I think that's the one eventually he's probably going to hang on to. So thanks for watching. Call again, and a very quick one. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.